Now officially welcome out to Market Watch Group Trading Foundation's Working Sessions Part 2 Intermediate Session. I'm back. I'm Scott. 6:50 p.m. at my place, 8:50 p.m. Eastern Time. Just a reminder, as always, we don't do recommendations or guidance. We're not advisors or brokers. This is educational and illustrative purposes only. And now let's go look at So, if you're only listening to the second half, the first half, we just really kind of did some market assessment. What looks good? We got a core list now. A core list. And we have 4 candidates from that list that we think are those that are most likely to develop into triggers. So they are now set up. What is the setup? Buyers in control. Now people might be like, oh, Scott, it's in a downtrend. Okay. If for you it is, then it is. For me, it's not. For me, I'm looking at this to evaluate the strength of the buyers. Followed by, are you guys seeing my screen? Okay, yeah, I think you are. Followed by this minor pullback. I mean, look, let's put a Fibonacci on there. Some people love the fibs. Let's go like that, and you can kind of see if I go lower, but if I just go from like the start of that move up to the top, it's just done this 38% correction or consolidation right down into this area here, this retracement. Okay. So what are we waiting for? I'm waiting for support. What is support? Where the sellers stop selling and the buyers start buying. Well, the sellers still sold it today. They sold it with more than yesterday, but not more than average. So we're like, okay, we can live with that. So I'm waiting to see what? I mean, it could just pause and then turn. It could just engulf the next day and a bullish engulfing. I think it could doji and then the next day turn. So I would think to myself, you know what? This thing could be a trade as soon as tomorrow. Likely by Thursday. I don't see how it would last until Friday. So let me pause there. Does that make sense why I'm saying that? Does anyone have any questions as to why I'm saying that? We clearly see that we're in the selling cycle that started back here when this thing started pinching. We got this doji. What kind of doji? A tombstone doji. Looks like a tombstone. Not a dragonfly doji, which would be the other way. We need a support bounce, absolutely, right? We're expecting that a support bounce is coming, but it hasn't come yet. So that's it. This is in setup. Now, does the setup for me require that I have a well-established uptrend? No. If it did, then I'd be like, yeah, I don't have what I need. This is not a well-established uptrend. What I need is that the price action clearly demonstrates that buyers took control and sellers are having a hard time pushing against it. We have a move from 152 to 180. And then it's gone from 180 to 173, right? So it went up 35 points and then it's dropped 7. That's that minimum amount of retracement. Stochastics, Miguel says, yeah, look at your stochastic. it's in an oversold zone despite the fact that it hasn't really pulled back that much and looks like it's ready to turn. Yeah. So at this point, now it's a matter of saying I have a setup. Would I place a trade now? Only if I placed a triggering trade where I said something like, if it breaks above, right? And let's say I draw a line like this, and I say, okay, if it breaks this line, which tomorrow, so basically I'd be thinking to myself, 175.95. So it's a little higher than it is now. And I'll basically say if tomorrow it gets up here to 170, actually that's a lie. The high is 170, 175.05 probably. That's all I would look for, 175.05. Something where maybe a little higher, maybe 175 and a quarter. If it breaks above, I want to get in because I think it's turning. So at that point, I can say, all right, if I get in at 175.25, where's my stop? My stop's going to be below this candle. That's the lowest point it touched, and then the sellers failed to push it any lower. 172.25. So if I give it an extra 50 cents below that, I'm at 170, 175. That's about $3.50 of stop. Do I think this thing can move 10 points? Yeah, I think it could get to 190, really. Right? 190 would be my goal. But up here, this resistance, this resistance, this resistance, this resistance. Where did these start? Here and here. So, yeah, I think to myself, hey, this thing has a good chance of getting up here to 190. So if I'm getting in at 175.25 or 50, whatever it is, I think I have almost 15 points of potential with an easy take profit at 190. No, that is my take profit. With an easy take profit at, would we do this old high here? Maybe so, around 182. And then work the rest of it, or maybe just, I don't know. That's a tough one. But yeah, I think you could set this to trigger. And then when it triggers let's start plugging this in so we can see it. Let's do that. Okay, so let's go into analyze. And we need an extra slice. We need to reorder them. Okay, our top target we said is 190. Our next target we said was 182. And our stop we said was 1 something. 171.75 with an entry at 175.25. Okay, so let's just play with this with the stock, right? With the stock. We're saying that we won't get in until it crosses there. That's what it would look like. Okay? With 100 shares, I would have 350 of risk, 675. That's almost 2-to-1 at my first target at 182. And that is 4-to-1 at my primary target at 190. So this would kind of be my thought. Now let's put these on the chart. Bing. And then let's move this out of the way. And let's zoom in and adjust. Okay, so you can see that that's the entry trigger point. It has to break above the flag and this high tomorrow. And then we would be like, yes, I want in. And if we get in, we're putting a stop loss back below this low. We're saying that that was the lowest point when we got our trigger, but if it breaks below that, then the sellers are actually back in favor in a way that we hadn't anticipated, right? And then I've got this first target at these old highs, and then I've got this second one at these old highs. That's my trade. Can it make this kind of a move? Well, it just made that kind of a move and then some. It just did it. That's the last thing it did. Am I asking for too much? It doesn't feel like it. It feels pretty reasonable. That's the trade, right? So yeah, can you automate the trade? You can automate an option to this. Right? You could put an option trade on that says if the stock goes at or above X price, buy the option. Maybe we'll do that with one of these that we're looking at here. Questions about Amazon? Let me know. Otherwise, have done it, but it didn't trigger. Okay, fair enough. Let's do the next one. What was next? So Amazon. I think Amazon looks quite reasonable. Yes. Okay. Oh, baby. Well, here's a question. Do we think any of these look fully viable now, as they stand now? For me, it's a no on Amazon, but it's close. I mean, I like the way that it's shaping up. What about Meta? Great non-recommendation. Thank you. Great illustration and example of what a trade could potentially look like if we were to flesh it out. Meta's close too. Let's look at Meta. Same concept here, right? When do we think the handle's broken? If it takes out this high, that's a good starting point. Right now in the after hours, it's down at 517. That's part of what we're saying is, hey, we don't think this is viable until the buyers come in. High point is, I would absolutely be willing to automate that. Yeah. 524. So let's say 525. 525. We'll even go 525.50. That's our signal. Okay, I need this. Reorder it. 520. Does it influence? Well, the dip is what I'm trading out of, right? So I'm saying when it breaks out of the dip, that's what I'm trying to associate. If I'm understanding your questions, right? I'm saying that I'm convinced it's done with this dip if it gets to here, which takes this old high out and would theoretically break this line, right? It would do those two things at once. So the dip is the setup, breaking out of the dip is the trigger. First target. And if then, yeah, theoretically so. First target, let's just go something that we've been at a couple of times. We'll say 542 and a half, 542. We'll say 542. It's not much. I don't love that. I don't love that first target. Let's find a stop loss. Stop loss a little under here, 515.30. Let's just go a dollar below that, 514.30. So we're about $10 away. 514.30, and then what's our big ask? I think 80 points. Why? That's the distance of this cup. Not even these lows, but really from right across here, 460 to the top at 540, 80 points. So if I get 80 points, I mean, it's really 80 from here, but I'm going to say 80 from here. That puts me at 600. 600. And then what? Then I just buy the stock and I say, what does that look like? You can see the same kind of a thing. It's about $365 of risk for $755 of gain. Okay, that's actually better than I thought. That's pretty close to 2-to-1. No, that's not. Hold on. Scratch everything I just said. I messed that up. That's my fault. I'm like, wait, that can't be that good. It's not. It's not. Let's lower this to, let's make it 25 shares. That's a little more manageable. That's close to 300. So I'm risking 280 to make 412. Okay, 1.5 to 1. That's not bad. My objective when I look at a take profit target level where I'm just looking to relieve some pressure, ease a little bit out of the trade, etc. I want to get, if I can only get a 1-to-1, I'm going to be pretty disappointed in the trade and probably not going to take it. The other trade, we got 2-to-1, right? We got 2-to-1 reward to risk. This one is giving us 1.5 to 1. But the ultimate prize, if it gets up to 600, that's $1,800, 280 risk, 5. I mean, that's definitely a substantial. Would it take longer to get there? And would we need to think about if either A, I'm buying the stock, which that's expensive, even at 25 shares, 500 a share. You're talking that's 12.5. On margin, that's about $6,500 on margin, $6,500, and you would have the ability to risk 280 to make about 18. You'd lose a little on interest. That's reasonable for a holding, or you could think about a spread trade, because here I would want time to be on my side. So I would probably go with like October, an October spread where I'm gonna stay in this thing and look for the bigger gain. I'll if I put out alerts this week, I'm gonna do at least one stock and then one option. Then I don't know what the next one will be. If I do the option, I'll make sure to do one. Or if I do a stock, I'll try to do it cheaper than these two because these are pretty expensive ones, right? Maybe PLTR will be our stock trade. Okay, thoughts? Okay, we're good. Everyone's good. Let's keep moving forward. I've got all my numbers locked in so that if I start going back to look at some trade alerts, my work here is already done, so that's a good thing. Let's go look at PLTR. I was going to look at Microsoft as well, but let's look at PLTR. Oh yeah. The same thought process here. Yeah. You can draw your consolidation, which means we needed to get above this high. High is 31.12. We'll call it 31.25. So let's add a slice. Let's reorder them. Let's put our entry at 31.25. And we're going to buy it at 31.25. Got to make the adjustment both places. You know it's right when at our starting point it's at $0. Okay? What would our stop loss be underneath this low? 30.38. Let's go 0.5%, 15 cents, 30.23. That's a good starting point. We can always make adjustments after we map the lines out. Did I do that on the other one? 30.23. Let me go check. Let me go back to Meta. Meta. Oh, I did not. So let me show you what I'm going to do here. This is what I love. Now I come in and I say slices to charts. And I only need it on one box. And you're like, well, where's the other one? I see stop, entry, first target. It's up there. It's up there. Do I believe we can get up there? Yes, I do. Okay. Now let's go back to PLTR. PLTR. Target. I mean, let's go 33, not all the way high, but close to it. So we'll put that old high in there as a point. 30, what did I say? 33 even. Boom, boom. And what's the big prize? I think we're going to look for this to this, right? So we went from, we'll call it 26.20 to 32.60. $4.40. No. $6. 26. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. $6.40. That's a big move. 6.40 from here. 36.90. That puts it up in this range here. I mean, it can make those moves. 36.90. What do you think about my numbers? Now, easy math right here. If I do 100 shares, I'm buying at 31.25. I'm selling at 30.25. How much risk? $100 of risk. If it gets to my first target at 33, where I'm looking to take some risk off the trade, not even half, what am I getting? 175. So I told you I want somewhere between 1.5 and 2 to 1 if possible for that take profit target. We're getting 1.75. Great. That works. Those numbers make sense. Then we have our big none. And again, the big one is pretty big. And you're saying I'm getting 5 to 1. I should be skeptical of that. I am skeptical of that. There's no way I'm getting 5 to 1 quickly. I mean, it is PLTR. We know that some of these stocks can really start to fly, but maybe skeptical. It's going to take time, which means I either need to buy the stock or I need to do a time strategy. I don't want to be theta negative if I think I'm going for that big money and start letting time start to wipe out the trade. Yeah. Let's go set these and see what we think about them. And you can say whether you think I am up in the night or not. There's the trade. There's the retracement, what we're looking for coming out of that retracement. Looking for this trend to continue. Give me your thoughts. Give me your concerns. Give me your questions. You're tired and you're poor. I don't know. Just your questions. Any? Does it feel reasonable? Of course, we'll adjust if we need to adjust. That's what we do, right? But do we believe that this looks and feels like a reasonable? Again, you could wait for it to confirm and then place it, but you might miss the signal. You could place it to be automatic, and then you might get in on an automatic signal, only to have it, possibly fall apart. We've got to decide what makes sense to us as traders. Might need a month. Yeah, I agree, Clint. That's why I said I'd go out to October. That's giving me 7 weeks, and I always want more time than I need. I agree with you on that. I was thinking the same. Maybe 3 to 4 weeks to get those bigger moves, which is why I don't want to be theta negative. I want something else. Do I raise your stop at any point? 100%, Cap. 100%. Right? If we get to that first target, if I haven't already, I'll adjust it on what's left. I'll move it, pretty, what we need to do. And you can watch a video. There's a video in the content library called Stages of a Trade. On Thursday, we need to go through the stages of a trade because that's a helpful consideration. I raise my stop a little bit slowly in the beginning and then more aggressively as I get later in the trade. The Heiken Ashi is a beautiful guide. Sandy is 100% right. Just such a smooth and easy guide. And then when you get where you feel like, hey, it's really made a nice move. I don't feel like these are protecting me. Then you just switch from the daily to the 4 hour and it'll accelerate tightening that stop up. Because at a certain point, I don't want to give that back, right? I think that's a great idea. Let's think about stages of a trade with Heiken Ashi candles for Thursday's intermediate session. If you guys want. I mean, we don't have to, but it sounds like it would be interesting to me. Yes, indeed. Okay. So, and I agree, Sandy. The ones that we've picked, Meta, Amazon, PLTR, these things can make moves. They're not shy when they catch. They can catch. I think those are 3 real strong ones to be in consideration. Maybe a couple of them come out as alerts in the morning, and maybe we wait for one to confirm. Let's go look at Microsoft. Find the bulls, buy the dips. Do we believe that this is a strong, well-established bullish trend? No, I don't. What I believe is that it was a nice bull, and then all of a sudden it went into a consolidation. And I could draw that consolidation line here. And we broke out of it and got to a new high, and now we've had a minor pullback. This one's a little tougher because we actually have like this hammer pattern, right? The stochastic has started to pinch. This one, so you might say, hey, you know what? If it takes out yesterday's body or yesterday's shadow, so I would say 417. That might be high. 416. So maybe 416.50. That doesn't have me getting in until up here. So that if it opens up a little bit and then just sells off again, I don't want to get in, right? So you can see that if I was going to try to automate this, I want to be ready to get in when it's convinced that this thing is turned and this is turned and everything is good to go. But I don't want to get put in prematurely only to have the signal fall apart on me, right? So in this case, I'd probably go up here around like, let's say 416.50 or so. So let's get some numbers working for us in here. What am I going to do? Add a slice and then reorder them? Would I wait for the 50-day? Nah, I don't care about the 50-day. I just don't. it's an easy enough reference. I would imagine if I add the 100 in here, it's going to be sitting right on top of it, which is what I would expect. Let's go. Let's make you this pretty color here. So pretty. Oh, I'm wrong. Well, now I'm curious, and I want to see the 200 exponential moving average. $200. And we're going to make this one pink. Boom. All right. So we are, we're holding above the 2. I'm fine. The singing trader. I told you I have that idea. I told my wife about it. An AI app that creates a swanky theme song for anything you put in there. Right? I'm playing with it in my mind. So someone's like, "Oh, what do you think about a slow stochastics?" And you're like, "Everybody loves a slow stochastic." I don't know. Dun 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 dun. Sandy's triggering my ADHD. Psych, it's ADD. I don't have an H. I refuse to accept the H. You can't say it's ADD in the 80s and then try to tell me it's something on later. You know why? I'm not focusing. I can't hear you. All right. I'm not paying any attention. It's ADD still. And it's kicking for sure. You can see it in effect. Do we have what we want? We've got... no, we wanted 416.50. 416.50. And then a stop loss. Let's get it below this. 410.25. Let's go 408.25. That's a 0.5% below. That might be too much room, but we'll see. 408.25. So we got about $8 of risk to the upside. 426. 426. Yeah, that's not as good. You can see it, right? 426. And the big prize, I don't know, 450. I don't love this one as much. Let's see what it looks like. 416.50. So we are getting 4-1 on the big prize, but we're only getting 1-1 on our initial, which is much less than the other 3 that we were looking at. So I still think there could be something here, but maybe I'd rather wait, get a Heiken Ashi confirmation, put a stop below it, and see if I can't just get a 3-1 with a trail stop and not. I won't need, if I do a continuation trade like that, I don't need to take a little risk out. I'm going to be moving my stop on a daily basis. So just a little bit different methodology. I would say for now, out of those 4, I like the first 3 the best. Amazon, Meta, PLTR, Palantir. That gives us a consumer discretionary, a communication service, and a technology. That's a good range. And there's more lining up, right? And there's more lining up. So we want to be aware of that as well. Okay. Thoughts, questions, concerns. I have a feeling all 3 of these are going to become alerts, and then we'll see if anything else or not. But those are my favorites. Those are my faves. If you were curious what my faves were, those are them. I feel like we've been patient. We've waited. Things are lined up. Let's be ready to go. Excellent, Clint. I'm glad this was helpful. Let's try to inject some of this in that 10 to 15 minute window we're going to carve out during the day as well. Yeah, I like it. I think that's smart. Schmart. Cool. Anything else? I'll give you back 5 minutes. I think we have a plan. I'm excited. I think I might put 1 or 2 of these out with automated potential triggers. Remember, if you ever miss an automated trigger, you can still put the trade on, but I will put it out that way. Good to see everybody. Have a great rest of your night. I'll see you in the morning, 9:15 a.m. Eastern Time, as always. Yes, I'll post it soon. Happy trading.